Alright guys, Bandit here doing another commentary, and this one was a suggestion on one of my recent videos from Els101, and it's to talk about the first games I played, my earliest video game memories and my greatest video game memories. Now the gameplay is just me carrying Archie in a World at War doubles, but I'm not going to be talking about that. So where I would start would obviously be with kind of like handheld devices like the Game Boy, you know, games like Pokemon, that sort of stuff, but I really don't have enough time in a video to go over all of that as well, so I'm just going to go over consoles in this video and start with them. Now my first console was a Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast, although I did play Nintendo 64 quite a few times and loved James Bond GoldenEye and that, but yeah, the Dreamcast is the first console that I have. Obviously it's extremely old, and if any of you have owned one or seen the controller, they're pretty fucking retarded. If you've not seen it, Google them. It just looks like some sort of space shuttle. And the game I enjoyed playing the most on this was definitely Sonic Adventures. Now I'm not sure like how old my subscriber base is, but I'm guessing most of you are like 15, 16, probably like a couple of years younger than me, and I'm not sure whether you'd have played this game, but it was such a sick game, and that's a game that I most enjoyed playing on that. Next console I got was obviously a PlayStation 1, and I'm sure many of you have had this, and games that spring to mind, stuff like Toy Soldiers, that game series was really good. I think the first game I played on PlayStation was Croc. I'm not sure, but that was a really good game. And my favourite games on PlayStation 1, it's gonna have to be the Crash Bandicoots 1, 2, 3, Crash Bash, Crash Team Racing. Those games are just sick. You're not gonna beat them. My favourite two have got to be Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped and Crash Team Racing. Team Racing was a lot of fun, and I don't know, I just loved the Crash Bandicoot series, they were really good. Then on the GameCube, I bummed out Super Mario Sunshine and Mario Kart. Both of those games were amazing. Yeah, I loved the Super Mario game on GameCube, but I didn't really play that much of GameCube. So moving on to the next console, which is going to be a PlayStation 2. A couple of games that spring to mind are like Ratchet and Clank. That was a really good game, I enjoyed that. A game that I really liked was Simpsons Hit and Run. That was such a sick game. I played that loads and fully completed that game. But PlayStation 2, one of the games that I played the most has got to be Time Splitters. That game is just unbelievable. Time Splitters 3 Future Perfect, if any of you have played that, the infected mode on that was just so much fun. And that's one of the first games I played where you could actually make your own maps. Time Splitters 3, like it had a forge mode and stuff, and it actually had online as well, but I didn't have online back then, but I'm sure that would have been absolutely sick. So yeah, I heard they're actually making a new Time Splitter soon, which I would definitely buy if that came out. So PlayStation 2, right. I've kind of just gone through those old consoles and games really quickly. Firstly, because I don't like have time to go over them in detail in a video, and secondly, I really can't remember too much, as it is a long time ago now. It is really far back. And I'm going to move on to when I got my original Xbox in 2003, 2004, and I can go into a bit more detail now because I can remember that. I can remember this more clearly. Of course, with it I got Halo Combat Evolved. Now, for many, this is probably their favourite game ever. It's up there in mine, but it's not my favourite. I'd played like a couple of shooting games up until this point, but like old Medal of Honor games, stuff like that. A game that I forgot to mention actually on PlayStation 1 was Time Crisis. I actually had like the game and the gun controller and stuff, and that was a sick game. I did play that a lot. But yeah, back to Xbox. Like, the campaign, Halo 1, it was just amazing. I can remember when I actually eventually completed it on Legendary solo, because it was fucking insanely hard, especially because back then I was like a stupid little kid with no game sense at all, so I didn't go about completing it like very smartly at all. And yeah, now moving on a bit, when Halo 2 came out, that was released in I think November 2004, and that's what pretty much like changed gaming for me, because when it was released, that was when I got Xbox Live, and after completing the campaign, I already knew it was going to be one of my favourite games, as in my opinion it was even better than the first one, which was up there. And so yeah, when I got Xbox Live, that like kind of brought a whole new aspect of to like gaming, if you understand what I mean. And despite the fact that I was like only 10 at the time, I was actually like surprisingly good at the game, and I spent a lot of times playing with Americans and getting up my high skill and stuff in other playlists. It was like back then the community was a lot smaller, of course, and yeah, there wasn't really that many British people about, to be honest. But Halo 2 is definitely my favourite game of all time. Like the single player, multiplayer, the music, everything's good about Halo 2, and it's just my favourite game so far. But I don't think anything will be changing soon, because the games they're releasing at the minute just really aren't up to the standard of these old games. But I pretty much spent 2 years straight playing Halo 2, bumming this game until the release of Gears of War, which was in 2006. Even though I got my 360 in 2005, I still played Halo 2 until Gears of War came out. That pretty much sums up how much I enjoyed the game. I was just playing it over newer games simply because, just, I don't know, just my favourite game really. I just found it most fun. And in my opinion, just nothing could compare to Halo at that time. Now, right, I am just trying to read where I got to. Like, Halo, of course, has like always been a very competitive game in public, but then when I moved on to Gears of War, I started playing with one of my real life mates from my school, because he had Xbox Live, and that was my first taste of competitive gaming, because I think back in year 8, a long time ago now, he introduced me to game battles, and me and him played a lot of Gears of War doubles, and I just pretty much spent my time gaming playing Gears of War GB up until the release of Halo 3, and I got that on release day, of course, because I absolutely loved the other two Halos. And I can remember trying to play the campaign on Xbox Live with someone, and it was just really laggy for some reason. I think loads of people had that issue. But yeah, with Halo 3 I kind of went back to playing publics. I found like getting up high skill and stuff more rewarding than game battles on that game, because Halo 3 was just competitive anyway. And yeah, just trying to read where I got to. Yeah, so due to me being like such a Halo bummer, I pretty much missed out on like the COD 4 hype, which looking back I'm not really that bothered about, because for me, comparing the two games, I'd choose Halo over COD any day of the week. Just the current Halo title was really really just a letdown compared to the rest of the series. So moving on to the release of World at War. Now that is when I got back into competitive, and I thought the game looked sick. Like, I hadn't really touched COD up until this point much, but I'd always loved playing World War II games, like the old Medal of Honor games and stuff. I just loved World War II games. There was something about it that I liked, and of course I got World at War, absolutely smashed out publics, and it's the only COD to date that I've achieved the highest prestige on legit. and you know, obviously publics on Call of Duty aren't the most challenging of things, so I was just getting bored, and it was really easy and stuff. And then of course I remembered about game battles, which I used to play on Gears of War, and me and a few real life mates started playing GB, got into that, but none of them were really any good. So like after a while I was just trying to join an actual GB team and stuff, and back then I was, you know, just messaging teams leaders and stuff, asking for trials, putting my KD in the message and shit like that. But actually back then, that's the funny thing, is people would used to like give you a little trial and stuff if you had a decent KD and things like that. But I got into a team and pretty much stuck with them throughout the whole of GB up until midway through Black Ops, or like the start to midway when they all quit. But it was a massive roster, probably about 10 people, 10, 11 people I think, and we cut it down to about 6, like a set 6-man roster, and just absolutely smashed the fuck out of World at War GBs. And pretty much since then I've played GB ever since, and that brings me to where I am now really. Just smashed GB, moved over to Deserto and attended LAN. Obviously summed that up in a sentence, and I could probably do a whole other commentary just about that. But yeah, my favourite games, I'm going to have to say Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, absolutely sick game. Halo 2, I'm going to say, is my favourite game of all time. And more recently, World at War, I had a lot of fun playing that game. There are obviously lots of games that I like playing, and I really don't have the time to talk about all of them because I'd be sat here for days, there's that many games. So I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I know it was a bit brief towards the start, but that's due to the fact that I don't have a lot of time and simply can't remember that far back. But if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and comment, as it does take quite a lot of time and effort to do these videos, and it helps my channel grow. If you have a commentary topic you'd like me to talk about, please just leave it in the comments and I will do it next time if I think it's a good idea. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video guys and the commentary. Peace.